The Russian region of Murmansk, a vast expanse along the freezing Arctic coast, has traditionally been a quiet area of little geopolitical importance. However, in recent weeks, this corner of the world has become the epicenter of an international crisis that threatens to escalate to a catastrophic scale. NATO, in a bold and calculated move, has decided to unleash an unprecedented offensive, sending a wave of heavy drones from Finland and Norway right on Russia's borders. What began as a show of force by the West has sparked a fierce response from the Kremlin, with Vladimir Putin taking drastic measures not seen in over 3 decades. The calm in Murmansk has been shattered, and the world watches, aware that what happens here could change the course of history. The NATO attack, which included the incursion of drones from neighboring territories, has been described as a calculated provocation, designed to further strain relations between Russia and the West. Unmanned drones flew over the Russian region, challenging the tranquility that had hitherto reigned in Murmansk. The air offensive was swift and unexpected, provoking an almost immediate response from the Russian armed forces. The gravity of the situation became clear when NATO not only used Finland as a launching pad, but also coordinated operations from Norway, which revealed an unprecedented level of cooperation between the member countries of the alliance. In response to this attack, the Russian authorities activated Contingency Plan Carpet, a military strategy specifically designed to counter the threat of unmanned aerial vehicles. This plan, kept in reserve for years, was implemented with impressive speed, marking the beginning of a series of events that would test Russia's ability to respond to a coordinated attack. The first measures included the immediate suspension of operations at 2 key airports in the region, Murmansk Airport Muromachi and Apatiti Kavini Airport. This emergency closure not only reflected the urgency of the situation, but also the seriousness with which the Russian authorities addressed the threat. Meanwhile, Russian air defense systems proved effective in shooting down 2 NATO drones that were flying over the Onega region. This incident, which was widely reported in Russian and Western media, not only showed Russia's ability to defend its airspace, but also the precision with which its defense systems operate. Military analysts agree that NATO was testing Russian defenses looking for possible weaknesses in its security infrastructure. But the NATO offensive was not limited to drones. Reconnaissance aircraft, such as the Swedish Air Force's SC-102B, as well as various aircraft from the United States Air Force, began to fly over the Russian borders. These aircraft, equipped with advanced communications interception technology, were carrying out extensive surveillance of Russia's electronic defenses. Each flight, each maneuver, seemed to be designed to gather crucial information about the Russian response capability. The Gulfstream 4, Beach Code, and Cessna 560 Citation aircraft were flying strategically, contributing to an air surveillance network that covered a vast territory and put Russian defenses on edge. In an intriguing turn of events, the transponder of an A-22 aircraft was detected, a model frequently used as a drone for airstrikes in the Puutushabi area of Finland. This location, close to the Valencia military airfield and only 400 kilometers from the Russian border, underscored the imminent threat it posed to Russia. The fact that this aircraft was so close to Russian military installations indicated a dangerous escalation in the NATO offensive. Moreover, it was revealed that the offensive was coming not only from Finland, but also from Norway, which underscored the cooperation of NATO member states in coordinating their attacks. The situation became even more tense when it was learned that a neo-Nazi battalion of the Azov Group, based in Latvia, could also be involved in the operations. These reports added a new layer of concern to the conflict, as they were a reminder of the involvement of multiple actors in this confrontation. Faced with this growing threat, Russia's response was both forceful and strategic. 6 Tu-95 MS strategic bombers and 3 Tu-22 M3S of the Russian aerospace forces were mobilized north from the Engels and Diaghilev bases. This rapid mobilization demonstrated Russia's ability to respond to an imminent threat, as the bombers flew over the region, ready to act if the situation spiraled out of control. Experts believe that this show of force was not only a warning to NATO, but also a clear sign that Russia is willing to defend its interests at any cost. The crisis also brought additional concerns, as reports emerged that Ukraine could receive long-range missiles of British and American origin. This possibility set off alarm bells in the Russian regions of Pskov, Smolensk, Moscow, Leningrad, and Voronezh, which are now on high alert for the possibility of missile attacks. The escalation of the conflict seemed inevitable, and the security of major Russian cities was at stake. Military expert Vitalik Isakov offered his analysis of the situation, pointing out that NATO was using these tactics to test Russia's air defenses and to assess how Moscow would respond to a coordinated offensive from multiple fronts. Isakov suggested that the attack on Murmansk was aimed at exploring Russian capabilities, as well as provoking a military response that could further destabilize the region. At the same time, the Kaliningrad region, a Russian enclave on the Baltic Sea, also found itself under threat. NATO provocations in this area led Putin to order the strengthening of defenses in this key region. Kaliningrad, which has long been a strategic base for Russia, now found itself at the center of growing tension. The need to protect all vulnerable areas against possible NATO aggression became a priority for the Kremlin. To underscore his determination, Putin took a significant step by ordering the start of the largest naval exercise in the last 30 years, known as Ocean 2024. These exercises, which are taking place in the waters of the Pacific, Arctic, Mediterranean, Caspian, and Baltic Oceans, involve more than 400 ships, submarines, and support units, along with approximately 120 aircraft and helicopters. The magnitude of these exercises is unprecedented and sends a clear message to both NATO and the rest of the world. Russia is ready for any challenge. The participation of Chinese naval forces in these exercises, with the inclusion of 4 warships, a supply ship, and 15 aircraft, underscores the importance of strategic alliances in the global context. Cooperation between Russia and China strengthens the ability of both countries to respond to external threats, and at the same time sends an unequivocal message of unity and preparedness in the face of provocations from the West. With each step taken, the situation in and around Murmansk becomes more complex and dangerous. The threat of a large-scale conflict between Russia and NATO is now more real than ever, and the world watches with concern as events unfold. The decisions made in the coming weeks and months could determine not only the fate of Murmansk, but also the future of international relations in a time of unprecedented uncertainty and tension.